chair now recognizes the gentleman from New Jersey, Mr. Representative Van Drew.
Chairman, thank you. Administrator, you seem like a really nice person, and you have a very nice personality, and you seem calm and gentle. So I'm going to apologize in advance because I'm angry and I'm tired of it. I don't only sit on transportation. I sit on judiciary. And, you know, I've been at hearings for hours where we were told that there wasn't any plan to go into Roman Catholic churches. And I'm digressing, I realize that. And yet we found out there was, and they had to apologize. We were told that nobody was going to school board meetings because people were reflecting their individual opinions. And again, over time, we dug in and found out there was. There is a culture in America that this issue represents and symbolizes. Now, I'm a plain speaker, I'm a plain talker, and I'm very direct. So I'm going to ask you some things. I know you've talked about it, but the reason we keep going back to it, Administrator, it's a really big deal. It's the First Amendment that people have the right to express their viewpoint, their feelings, who they want to vote for, what they believe, whether they're liberal or conservative, Republican or Democrat, Trump or Harris, who cares? Because guess what? The folks on the other side of the aisle should know if it happened to us, it could happen to them. That's the reality. I believe that FEMA's blatantly neglected its core mission of providing emergency support to all Americans without prejudice or bias. And I also believe this doesn't happen in a vacuum. And I understand the person who's been fired, she swears that this came from above her. So the first question I'm going to ask you, that this was part of the administration. Is she a liar?
Her allegations, I have not seen any evidence that this is beyond her specific direction, but we are conducting additional investigations to ensure that this is an isolated incident.
So the truth
and that
is
we will take disciplinary action if there was more than her direction.
The truth is we don't know yet. It's the culture. It's the culture of what's going on. And you know, part of what they said, this individual, they called Trump supporters, and I know your answer is going to be, no to this, as, quote, vicious dogs, end quote. I want to just say how deep and mean this was. Do you believe that Trump supporters are vicious dogs?
That was a comment that was not made by me, and I do not believe in that comment, no.
Okay, I'm sure you don't. Do political affiliations with the Republican Party make someone inherently dangerous because they happen to be a Republican? Yes or no?
That is not in alignment with our core mission and our values of integrity, compassion, fairness, and respect.
And I agree, and I understand that, but think about this. People, when they are their most vulnerable, most in need, most scared, most worried, in the most trouble, probably in their entire lives, hardworking men and women of America, looking to a federal agency to protect them, to help them, to take care of them, and they got literally a knife in the heart. I mean, that's what this really represented. Those people, how do they feel? They break their back paying the taxes that keep us all going here. So when we finally are supposed to do a job, this is what happens. How heartbreaking is that?
Congressman, this was unacceptable, and it is heartbreaking.
I know.
I have pushed for 3.5 years to put people first.
And you know what?
Everything that we do.
And that's what kind of, and again, forgive me, I'm going to editorialize for a minute. We speak of equity, which is different than equality, and it's become a political symbol to some degree, whether folks want to admit it or not. We're worried about pronouns. We're worried about illegals. We're worried about everything, and I get it. But how about just worrying about the average man and woman who's working, who lives in America, who's legal, who pays their taxes, who obeys the laws, and finally needs help? Because most of these people never need help. They don't want anything. They get their Social Security when they retire, and that's about it. Just think how they feel. And I'm concerned. And I have to tell you, I have personally asked Joe Kufari, who is the Inspector General in Homeland Security, personally asked him, sent him a letter. He's a good man. He's an honest broker to look into this and really dissect this and see what's going on. I think we're going to find it's more than one person. That culture allowed this one person to think it was okay. That culture that we've had, whether it's in the Department of Justice, or whether it is here in Homeland Security, other areas, that culture has allowed this to take place. That culture is wrong, and it denies the most fundamental values of Americanism. You know, somebody said to me humorously, hey, and this wasn't humorous, President Trump had a really good result in the state of New Jersey. He didn't quite make it, but it's usually a very, very blue state. The state I'm from is New Jersey, because we're having wildfires right now, as you probably know. And people wonder, are we going to be punished because it was so supportive of President Trump? I would hope not. Because to be honest with you, I do my job. I was a dentist in my other life, and your job is kind of like that. We have to take care of people, not in the political end, but in the governmental end, regardless of who they are, what they believe, what they feel, what they've said. That is our responsibility and job. This is so unbelievably, fundamentally wrong. And I'm not showboating here as a politician. I swear to God, this really bothers me. It really bothers Americans. It's a grievous mistake. It's awful that it happened, and it has to be fixed. I wanted to see if there's any other questions. Hold on for a second.
The gentleman's time.
Oh, my time is up. Well, there is no more questions, right, Chairman? Chairman, thank you for making me aware of that. I yield back.